Thank you for joining us for our 2013 District Flex Day. It's a new year, new beginnings, and we are ready to go. I am Tamika Brown. I'm the Staff Development Officer at the district. I'm also full-time faculty at Laney College, and I welcome you to Flex Day. So just highlights of where we've come from and what we have to look forward to. We were able to pass Prop 30 and deny Prop 32. Yes, yes we can, and so hopefully we can look for better days ahead in the coming months. We've already added over 200 classes. This is what's best for our students. The next thing that we can get back to is the business of teaching and learning and really being focused on our students. And so our theme is developing pathways for student success. Just to highlight today, some of the things that we'll be covering is we'll be hearing from our chancellor on the state of the district. We'll also be hearing from our Vice President of Budget and Finance on the state of the budget, and we will have recognition of excellence awards. And finally, we will have our keynote speakers that will be talking about developing the capacity to create change for student success. Lunch will be catered by Laney Catering. Dorcas is working with us and been working hard to provide a wonderful spread this morning for continental breakfast as well as lunch. So Lady Catering is up and running. If you ever need any catering needs at your college, please contact Dorcas. And then this afternoon, we have some wonderful presentations from our own faculty within the district, highlighting their expertise in various areas, including accelerated learning, contextualized learning, integrated learning, themed learning communities, and distance education. So please join us for working lunch. We'll have 6 different concurrent workshops available for you. The workshops will be held in the E building, in the Laney Bistro, as well as classrooms on the 2nd and 1st level of the E building on Laney College's campus. And then immediately following our afternoon workshops, we have a wonderful workshop on LGBTQ multicultural training. And this is extremely important, and we are strongly encouraging all faculty, staff, and administrators to attend. We have some great facilitators from Think Again Training, as well as faculty and staff from the district who will be talking about some of the issues facing this community, as well as some of the legalities, the legal aspects of approaching discrimination or harassment. What can you do? What should you do? What are some of the steps and procedures based on Peralta's policy? And then immediately following this session, we will have our PFT session. And there we'll have refreshments, but we'll also be going over important things such as faculty evaluations, contract negotiations, and also our leadership for the next academic year. And then you can also, professional development is not just one day or 2 days out of the academic year. We will have continuous programming throughout the semester. So please look for information via email and in your faculty mailboxes on workshops throughout the academic year for the spring semester as well. And intranet is up and running thanks to our district IT department, so you may log in your staff development hours. Once you log them in, I will go in and approve them, and you should receive notification of that once they've been reviewed. And I just want to give special thanks to everyone who was involved in making this day a success. So please give a round of applause for those individuals, in fact, especially our faculty facilitators. our deans, administrators, our district support, as well as our college presidents. I just want to thank everyone in advance for everything that they've done. So now I would like to introduce our president of the PFT, Peralta Federation of Teachers. Is Matt here? Yes, there you are.
Thanks, folks. I'm a little more self-conscious than usual this morning in front of you because my family's doing some work on the house and we're staying at my in-laws' place, and I forgot my shower kit and had to use my mother-in-law's soap this morning. So there's sort of this floral miasma around me, so you can understand my uneasiness. Thanks for coming today, and thanks a lot to Tamika Brown for getting this week's events organized. I'm Matthew Goldstein, the president of the Peralta Federation of Teachers. We're the union that serves about 1,000 full and part-time teachers and counselors and librarians and nurses here at Laney, at Merritt, COA in Berkeley. On behalf of PFT, I want to welcome everyone back for the spring term. We head into 2013 on the heels of a successful contract negotiation in which we set up a 3-year comprehensive deal that included protecting our wages and benefits with relatively little cost to our faculty. The deal also made the 50-50 healthcare plan a permanent feature of our contract. That's the part-timers' access to healthcare, as well as compensated office hours. And we're really proud of that deal. It was a hard-won deal, and we're pleased that we made it. But there are some issues that we didn't resolve during contract talks last spring, and we continued to negotiate throughout the fall. Some of the things that we talked about over the fall included an agreement on the terms that managers retreating to faculty come to faculty under. We also settled the deal on the terms of faculty investigations by the district. In the next several months, we have a number of issues that we will continue talking about, and we're already underway with those talks. Some of the higher profile items are counseling assignments, which some of you may have heard about, and fee-based instruction here at the colleges. The biggest one, of course, and the one that's probably commanding most of your attention, or the attention of the widest swath of faculty, is how to use these new revenues that we all worked so hard for last year. We passed Measure B and, of course, Prop 30 in the fall. As part of our deal that we made last year with the district, PFT successfully negotiated a fair faculty share of all new revenues. So now that the monies are arriving at the district, PFT, of course, is eager to collect its fair share. So we have a number of priorities set for the next few months, and we've been talking about these with the district side negotiators and with the chancellor and others. But here's sort of a bullet list of things that PFT is keeping an eye on in the next 6 months or so. We, of course, want to maintain affordable health care and dental coverage. We'd like to increase salaries across the board for all faculty. We haven't seen a raise for over 5 years, and that is the longest drought in Peralta history. We want to restore sabbaticals and professional development monies in the years ahead, in the immediate future. We'd like to place part-time faculty on a 25-step salary schedule. We're hoping to figure out some way to help post-2004 hires handle healthcare costs in their retirement. We'd like to hire even more contract faculty. We hired, I think, around 20, Chancellor, and we're very pleased with that, but PFT has been arguing for 40 plus, and we hope to get even more than that. And we'd also like to secure compensation for faculty who work on SLOs and assessment. This is something you've heard me talk about, and you've heard the president of the board, Sai Galasa, who's with us today, mention at board meetings, and Nikki Gonzalez, UN, has brought this up as well. So I would urge you to get informed and get involved with PFT. We put out a quarterly newsletter called the Peralta Teacher that goes into boxes twice a semester. We also put out a couple of electronic communications, the e-communique and PCCD Board Watch, so look for those every couple of weeks in your Peralta email. I'd also strongly encourage folks to turn out for all of our meetings. We have one today at 3:15, as Tamika already let you know. Please come to that in the Laney Bistro. Part-timers are urged to attend Cynthia Mahaber's part-time meeting on Friday at 4 o'clock in E254 at Laney, and that's going to focus on the particular challenges faced by PT faculty in the classroom. And we have our first general membership meeting established already for Thursday, February 28th at BCC in the auditorium at 12:15. So our first GMM will be February 28th at BCC. Also, I'd encourage faculty to come to our executive council meetings. Typically, those are the first and third Thursdays at 3 o'clock at the PFT offices. Because of scheduling constraints, our first executive council meeting will be Thursday, the 31st at 3. That's a week from this Thursday. And then we'll get back on track for our Thursday, February 21st meeting. I know this is a lot of information, but we'll put it on the website and send it out as well. Also, be sure to check your boxes this week for a general update from the PFT officers, as well as nomination forms for the CFT convention, which will be held March 15th through 17th in Sacramento. So again, I strongly encourage PFT, all of us that is, to be informed and get involved. So thanks. I now have the pleasure of introducing someone who's worn many hats at Laney and the district, and she's worn them all quite well, I would add. Please welcome psychology professor, co-chair of the successful 2009 Laney College Self-Study Accreditation Report, and the current president of the District Academic Senate, my friend and colleague, Dr. Karolyn van Putten. Thanks.
Good morning again. It's so wonderful to see you. It's always wonderful to see you on professional development days. It is my pleasure as the District Academic Senate President to say a few words, if I can get my voice clear. The temperature does not bode well for singers, so thank you for patience with that. But to say a few words that I hope will inspire you to at least think more, if not do more, with respect to the things that I'm about to say, and make them a part of your reality as much, or at least to begin to make them as much a part of your reality as they have become a part of mine. I was sitting in the dentist's office waiting for a procedure, one of the least favorite things we all probably like to do, and picked up a magazine that caught my attention. The January issue of Wired. I'm a techie at heart, amongst other things. And the cover article in this issue is "The Robots Take Over." And down in the corner it says, "They're coming for your job, and you'll be glad they did." Well, that got my attention. Not coincidentally, my colleague Peter Brown recently distributed an article and a lengthy video description of some of the ways in which technology and robotics are affecting the world that he knows in machine technology. You'll hear more about that later, I'm sure. It's a message that I think we all would do well to take to heart. And you might think that because we're teachers, it's not going to affect us. Well, I have to tell you that in this article, amongst the other things that were talked about that are already taking place, that are being used, that robotics is being used for, are musician, therapist, cop, artist, comedian, personal trainer, waiter, magazine editor, teacher, nurse, athlete. Yeah, well, obviously no one's going to get a robot to replace you. And for a long time, as this progress inevitably continues, these robot and robotic entities will be working alongside of us, and our job will be to help them work smarter so that we can work smarter and do the things that robots are not going to be good at. And certainly teaching is probably not high on the list of things that robots would be good at, because teaching requires a great deal of flexibility from those who are helping others learn the things that they want to learn. A great deal of sensitivity, and that's something that I value in all of my colleagues who have committed themselves to the teaching role, and certainly want to make the best support, provide the best support for that I can, personally, and in my role as the District Academic Senate President. The point behind all of this is there's one word that would apply to what we are doing now, what we did yesterday, and what we'll be doing tomorrow. It is change. Change. Right. Most of the time, we're not particularly fond of change. We don't like changes in the weather. We don't like changes in our breakfast foods. We don't like changes in our coffee. We don't like change. And we certainly don't like the changes that result in us having to do things differently, even if the things we're doing differently are things that are better. Just because we're creatures of habit, it's part of the human condition. Nonetheless, because of those resistances, and because change is not usually something that is imposed autocratically, at least in this society, from outside, we have processes by which change occurs. And those processes require our involvement. If we want to see something change, the best way to get that to happen is to be involved in all the things that will help that happen. And while you probably know this, some of you at least know this because you're members of the Senates of your colleges and you've been watching Senate business for some time, the entity that is most invested in supporting faculty in making positive change for the sake of the success of our students and our improved condition as faculty members, teaching faculty members, the entity that is most responsible for and fortunately available for doing that is your college and district senates. They are one body. They have, well, I guess we could say we have 4 limbs. That's each of the 4 colleges, and those 4 limbs come together in a quote-unquote head-like thing called the District Academic Senate. We are here to facilitate positive change. Change that helps you do your job better so that our students can learn better. The one thing that we got from the approval that, thank you, the people of California gave us when they provided those changes in our income status, one thing we got from that message of support is we want to see people succeed better than they have been. And you've probably heard before many times that our success rates, however we want to measure them, have been relatively flat for the past 20 years, which is rather appalling. What's even more appalling is that they've been flat at a pretty low level. So that's a change that we welcome, I hope. I surely welcome it, and I welcome it on behalf of you, even if you don't, because I know that those dollars that are helping us back off the precipice, just barely, are there because the larger society recognizes the importance of the change that education can make in our lives as individuals and in our communities and in our society. Change, positive change. That's what education is most about, in my view. Those processes that I'm referring to are time-consuming, and they're usually things that we are not including in our job descriptions. They require attending meetings, they require having conversations with people, forming alliances, strengthening relationships, being kind, and learning how to be resilient and giving, as well as insistent, to some extent, on exactly what it is that you're trying to get accomplished in a kind way. Those processes are something that, above all, faculty are given the right and responsibility to engage in with the 10+1 areas of the Academic Senate for California Community Colleges. I won't go into detail about what they are right now, but there is a pocket card in my pocket that you should have as well, which will tell you what all 10 of those things are. But they almost half of them have to do with process, because that's what we can own. That's what we can influence. We may not be able to make something so. We don't get to sign our names to pieces of paper or electronic documents that allow money to flow from one category to another. But we do get to involve ourselves in the process by which the decision for making that money flow occurs. That is critical. If we don't like it, we have to work at changing it. If we do like it and we want to have more of it, we have to work at keeping that so. Those processes are what your Senate is here to help you support and engage in. I'm going to take a moment back from this right now and introduce to you for the second time, so that he can have an opportunity to stand up and give a wave, the president of our Board of Trustees, Sai Galassa, who my colleague sitting here on the far right front seat. President Galassa.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Isn't this a beautiful morning? You know, I want to thank Carol for reminding me that this kind of weather is not good for singing, because I had intended to sing my comments to you this morning, and I'll resist. Also, I wanted to, as a 30-year teacher, instructor in a college, there were 2 days of exquisite joy, anticipation, and wonder. The first was on the day that you're experiencing right now, the beginning of classes, thinking about the new students, the adventures, all of the wonderful things that'll happen, and you're all juiced up and just excited and ready to go. And the other day of exquisite joy was when you turned in your final grades and got the hell out of here, jumped in your car, and planned a great vacation. So anyway, welcome to you. And good morning again to everyone, and what a beautiful day it really is. And welcome to 2013. You know, that's the only year in my 8 years as a trustee that shows so much promise and so much excitement for me as a trustee. You know, we've had some very dark days around here in the past years. Grand juries and deficits and layoffs and furloughs and cutbacks and slashed classes, and worst of all, shutting the door on our students. But this morning, I believe the Peralta sun is shining. There's millions more in the budget, and Ron said, no, you can't have it. Thanks to the property tax victory and the community's vote of confidence in Peralta. That's an extraordinary thing to have the community so overwhelmingly tell us that we're doing a good job and we deserve their support. And thanks to Governor Brown, who had the courage, I was going to say cojones, but I want to keep it clean. But then also I have an impulse to be bilingual. So anyway, to pass a tax initiative and reinvest in education. And thanks to the re-election of President Obama, who understands community, whatever your politics, he understands community colleges and supports with money as well as voice our mission to rebuild lives and invigorate the economy. You know, all of these collective events bode well for Peralta. And thanks to all of you, and this is very important, who pulled together in the worst of times, accepted sacrifice. There was a little bit of bitching here and there, and probably well-deserved complaints, but you all worked together. You knocked on doors and busted a Capitol and phoned, lobbied. You all pulled together for the benefit of our students. And you know, if we can work together so well in the worst of times, think what we can do when the weather clears.